So, just talking, part two. I got a egg and cheese sandwich for you. You know, some morning food for thought. Now, I got individuals who think that Brother Larry is attempting to engage the smoke while the fire burns. They think that Brother Larry has chosen to engage the nigger mentality because it's safe, because it's talking about you. You see, these individuals, they lack forethought. And because they lack forethought, family, they would have you believe that Brother Larry lacks forethought as well. But you see, I have already established that Brother Larry is an actual chess player. So, Brother Larry is looking at the board. Hello, Dr. Carr.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm glad. I don't know, the weather's strange. My sinuses maybe bothering me. Otherwise, I'm real bushy tail. I just called to let you know that I was up. I usually say my prayers, and I will charge the phone about half an hour because I had to get another phone. This is a piece of junk.
Okay.
What time? What time?
Well, I have to go to downtown Manhattan before I come to see you.
Okay, fine. Fine. That means that I won't be seeing you until sometime after lunch, right?
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a pleasant morning.
All right. Have a good day.
Same. Bye-bye.
Brief interruption. You know, I posted that video. I told you that I was going to do a little community service, help out a elderly black doctor. Well, that was her. You know, I'm scheduled to do that today. So in any event, what I wanted to get at was that while these guys think that they are somehow engaged in some type of, you know, revolutionary struggle, right? And at the same time, attempting to market products, t-shirts and what have you, and brands, okay? And at the same time, starting to or beginning to live comfortably off of the earnings that they're making by selling you the idea that you somehow have to prepare yourself for a revolution. They're playing on your fears. They're playing on your fears that they know exist, that they know was instilled in you during that plantation process. They know that it was instilled in you because it exists in them as well. They are just a version of predation among a people. Now, it's like it's raining outside, and I'm standing under an umbrella, and you're walking by getting soaked, and you say to me, can you have my umbrella? Now, you don't say, can you get under the umbrella with me so that we both can be dry? You say, can you have my umbrella? And not in a nice way. You understand? Now, the fact that you could think that your personal, individual needs, wants, desires are more important than the collective needs of the community that produced you, the community that, had it not been, you could not be. You see, Brother Larry told you that in psychological war, sometimes the perspective gets turned around and you get fooled into thinking up is down and down is up, left is right and right is left, wrong is right and right is wrong. See, they have some of us thinking that right is wrong and wrong is right. That's why you can place your individual wants, needs, and desires above the wants, needs, and desires of the community that produced you, of the collective. You see, the natural order of things is that the individual is actually dispensable. But the group, the community, is what has to be protected. Because without the group, the individual could not have existed. But the community can exist without the individual. Now, let's be clear. No individual alive, sane, wants to think of themselves as any less important than anyone else. But the natural order is that the collective is more important than any one individual. When an individual begins to think that they are more important than the group, that leads to confusion. That leads to governmental structures like dictatorships, where you have an individual seize power and think that he is more important than the group, and thereby unleash forces against the group that are not in the best interests of the group, but serve the interests of the few. This is that psychology in operation on a governmental level. On a plantation level, they needed to foster in you distrust of the group in order to lessen the possibility of slave rebellion, insurrection, revolt. This was something that was done to you purposely. You don't purposely hate your brother. You just have a trigger buried deep in your subconscious that was placed there, placed in the subconscious of your ancestors, and is being passed down from generation to generation. like a family heirloom. It is being passed down, family. It came from the plantation. I mean, let's be boxed in for a second, right? Now, in being boxed in this little ass box, remember I told you it's just a little box. And being boxed in a little ass box, you don't really notice that the things coming into the box weren't there before. You see, when the little ass box is your world, you kind of focus on the little things in it. The little things in it being the life you live in. And things outside of that life, you don't really focus on. You don't believe me? Think about the things you think about individually during the course of a day. Pick a day, any given day, and say, today, I'm going to take Brother Larry's challenge. I'm going to actually monitor the things that I think about during this day. And see what you think about during the day, so that you notice it, in order to understand that at some part of your day, you're really not thinking about anything at all constructively, unless you're employed, or you are running a business, doing something constructive. But I'm talking about just thinking. See what you think about. If it ain't work related, if it's not task related, see what you're thinking about. You understand? Some people think about politics all day long. Some people think about religion all day long. I know very religious people that think about other things all day long. But the point is, see what you think about. And understand that a lot of the stuff that's streaming in is being directed, and it's streaming in for a purpose, and it's creating clutter, and that clutter keeps out important things, because that clutter takes up space. It's like the memory on your hard drive. If you download too many songs, the computer slows down, doesn't function as effectively, because the resources that it needs to use in order to run programs is being used by the space in your storage that got all those video files and audio files. Now, I'm not saying that your brain is a computer, but I'm saying the concept of the computer was modeled on the brain. So your brain does perform functions that, if you put too much of one thing in there, it's going to push other stuff aside. The thing that you're putting in at that moment is going to occupy your consciousness. If you continue to put that thing in, it's going to occupy your subconsciousness. You're going to dream about it. Think about it, family. The thing that you do all the time, don't you dream about it? I mean, you think fighters don't dream about fights? Basketball players don't dream about basketball? Race car drivers don't dream about driving fast? You understand? Do you think doctors dream about being lawyers? You probably wake up screaming, cutting somebody's heart out. Surgery is what they think about, because that's what they do. That's the information that they're pushing into their brain. So the brain, in an inactive state, is going to play back that video of all the stuff that it's been taken in. This is why sometimes you can be thinking and you just reach out. because those thoughts are telling you that what you are seeing in your mind is real. This allows you to understand that the information you take in can become real in your mind. Doesn't have to be real anywhere else. If it's real in your mind, Brother Larry really wants you to understand that something has become real in your mind that is not real anywhere else. Brother Larry needs you to understand that moving down the line, in order to get where you think you need to be, you are going to have to cooperate with people who look just like you. Now, how do you suppose you get from not even talking to the black people you see walking past you on the street every single day, just passing them by like they do not exist? How do you get from that mental state that allows you to do that, that allows you to watch as someone drags off a black person, throws them in the back of a car, and you just assume that it's the police? How do you get from that benign neglect to that disconnect, to the point where you cooperate in joint ventures for the mutual benefit of the community members who participate, and to inspire those who do not so that they join? How do you get to that? You see, the rest of that shit ain't even relevant. It's not necessary. I mean, Frederick Douglass said, and I'm going to use his words, slaves would argue one plantation that the master on that plantation was better than the master on that plantation. It would be the slaves arguing against each other's master. My master better than your master. Your master do this. Well, your master do that. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? That comes when you accept your condition as reality. Now remember, we're talking about people who were born into a system that the only thing they knew, the only thing they saw was this system. Think about growing up where you grew up. Think about what you saw. Note that everything that you saw influences you in some way. This is why there's a wino sleeping in the street somewhere, drunk. And that wino was influenced as a child because that wino used to be a child with a bright, promising future. But like we observed in part 1 about the oak tree and squirrel shit, the wino you see sleeping in the street, drunk and pissed on himself and haven't taken a bath in months, was somebody's child with a bright future that went wrong. Went wrong because that wino was influenced by something or something and led that wino in that direction. Now you say, well, no, it could have been this, it could have been that. I don't care what it was. What influenced the wino was another wino, when the wino was too young to even realize that that was being impressed into his mind, that it was okay to be a damn wino. Just like the children of lawyers tend to become lawyers, and the children of doctors tend to become doctors, the children of actors tend to become actors, the children of singers tend to be singers. It is what you expose the child to. I know people who are incarcerated, their children incarcerated. You understand? Now, I know some people that think they niggas. Their children think they're niggas. This is what you expose your child to. Now, if you are really into this culture and you want to uplift it and see it perpetuated and see the better, brighter parts and aspects of it rise to the surface and push the negativity out of its existence, if you really care about this culture, if you really care about us, how you passing this shit? How you passing what you know is keeping you stuck in the same position? Just some eggs and cheese in the morning. A little food for thought. No hype. Just think about it. How are you preparing for the future, and all you show your children is the past? They talked to us like this when we were enslaved. We still talk the same way today. At some point in time, a fashion trend goes out of style. At some point in time, progress takes hold and people move forward. How is it that everything around you is moving and you are still stuck being a nigga? How is it possible that every other thing has changed? No. Used to be colored people. Used to be Negroes. Some of y'all used to be black. Now y'all African American. Some of y'all say y'all Native American. Some of y'all say y'all, you understand? My point is that at the same time, how the hell you retain a nigga? How is this shit staying stuck to your forehead? It is because someone else is pressing that shit there. It's not natural. Someone else is maintaining your status. Someone else is benefiting from that maintenance of your status. In other words, being niggas is making somebody rich. And it ain't you. Because remember, when we came into this plot, it was to exploit us. So that people continue to place you in positions whereby which they can exploit you. Don't that mean they still playing by the same playbook? Don't that mean they still playing the same game? Don't that mean they still on the same team? And don't that shit mean your ass still on the losing side? Because your ass ain't organized your team yet so that y'all can mount an effective opposition to their team plan. You know, if you don't got no team plan, but the other team got a plan, they gonna run over you on the field. You know that you have to have an organized, structured plan in place with steps that you understand you are implementing while you are implementing them so that you can engage and gauge your progress. You understand that you are not doing this. You understand that you don't see this being done. But these eggs and cheese in the morning, they real good. Eat up. This is your brother Larry with some real intelligent talk. Hopefully. And individuals who think it's not, think it's not. You're at liberty to do so. You have my permission.